Okay. Hello, good evening, namaskar. I am Akhil, and on behalf of Opus Social Commercials Private Limited, I welcome you all to the September month Golmage. Friends, Golmage is a platform for debate and discussion. It is a platform on which the topic is studied from all points of view. Literally, Golmage means a round table, a table which does not have any side. And we all have gathered at this round table to discuss on these topics. Generally, the issues that affect you, the issues that affect me, the issues that affect the society, these are generally left out to the news media to discuss and debate. Opinion makers are there from all sides of the argument. And what we feel, what we see, and what is the general mood is that the opinion gets hijacked by the biased side of things. The people, the society is left out wanting for an objective discussion, an objective, dispassionate discussion, a discussion that is based on facts, a discussion that is based on logical reasoning and not on the bias of the person who is discussing this. आपण जेव्हा कुठल्याही इश्यू बद्दल डिस्कशन बघतो तर त्यात असं होत राहतं की आपल्याला तो जो गोंधळ आहे त्यातनं कुठेतरी बाहेर यायचं. And Golmage is that platform which is providing the island of sense and sanity. I welcome you all for Golmage. The aim of this discussion in Golmage is twofold. First, we want to disseminate information in the form of presentation that covers the origin of an issue and its current status. This information is based on facts and it tries to cover all the aspects of that issue. A discussion then follows from interested participants. This is moderated. And the objective of discussion is to get into more subtle layers of that issue. For today's Golmage, I will be the chief moderator. I will introduce my team from Opus who will be joining me. Neha will be the co-moderator and secretary panel will be headed by Komal. Kapilesh is looking at the technical side of the things. Welcome team. I request Neha to go ahead and read out the rules for Golmage.
I think Komal will read out the rules.
I'm sorry. I request Komal to read out.
Yes, let's do that. So I shall now make an announcement of some of the important rules that are to be observed throughout this session. This will be on behalf of the secretary panel because the panel is responsible for ensuring adherence to all the rules and regulations of Golmage through this session. Firstly, the medium of communication for this session can be English, Marathi, or Hindi. Second, each speaker shall be allotted a certain amount of time by the moderator within which they shall conclude. Third, the instructions of the moderator in respect to moderation shall be binding upon all speakers, and this includes making comments, putting questions, etc. Fourth, all speakers should make sure not to speak out of turn or over one another as far as possible. Please note that none of the organizing individuals or institutions of Golmage shall bear any responsibility or liability for any words used by any of the participants and the presenter. The participants and the presenter shall bear responsibility in their individual capacity for the words used by them during this session of Golmage. Importantly, every speaker shall refrain from the usage of any words that may lead to the violation of any law in force. For example, making an inflammatory or hateful statement against any community. Further, no speaker shall make any personal comment against any person during this session of Golmage. For the viewers, any questions by the viewers where they wish to put them to the presenter, participants, or the moderator, they shall undergo scrutiny before approval. They will be taken up by the moderators as per their discretion. Lastly, at any point throughout this session of Golmage, the secretary panel reserves the right to interrupt, to restrain, or to issue a warning to any person who may have violated any of these specified rules or against any undesirable act or speech. This will be as and when the panel deems necessary according to the situation. In case there is continued non-compliance with the instructions of the secretary panel, the panel may also exercise the right to disqualify such a person from participation in the session. Now, our presenter will make the presentation, which will be followed by a discussion including our participants. Our moderators may then decide to take up some questions. After that, we shall take a look at the summary of today's Goldmage discussion and then move towards the conclusion with further announcements. These were the rules and the flow of our session today. Okay.
Thank you, Komal. Let us move towards Goldmage. Friends, the topic for today's Goldmage is online schooling, conventional, unconventional, and beyond. Just like we are sitting across a screen, a lot of students today are also in the online screens, perhaps the longest period when the schools have been shut down. So this will be the topic which we will be discussing. The presenter for today's session is Ashish Pawar. Welcome, Ashish. Ashish comes with a decade of experience in teaching. Presently, he is working as assistant professor in English at ILS Law College, Pune. He is also a visiting faculty at Institute of Advanced Studies in English, Pune, for MA in English. He's an editor for Rewriting Human Imagination, a proposed digital anthology of art in times of COVID-19. Ashish holds 2 master's degrees in English and linguistics. He's also a PhD research scholar working in the field of literary pragmatics. Ashish, it is a pleasure to have you here to present today's topic, online schooling, conventional, unconventional, and beyond. Over to you.
Thank you, Akhil. I'll start screen sharing.
Yes, please.
Yes, I hope the screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So I first of all thank Goldmage for making a choice of this topic, which is very, very relevant right now. We are going through a pandemic. We are going through unprecedented and quite unimaginable times. And it has affected a lot of lives, a lot of areas. And one of these areas which got affected quite drastically, I would say, was education. And one way how we found out a solution to that was through online schooling. Now we know that online schooling has gave us a new hope. It has also given us a lot of challenges. And I intend to kind of give you a picture of what exactly is happening in the area of online schooling. What are the good things? What are the things that are challenging to us? And then we will have a discussion on how we can actually resolve these issues that we have and what is the future that we can see. So let me begin with the presentation. What I've done is I've thought about conventional part of online schooling. I'll also talk about what is unconventional about it. And then I will have sort of a presentation on what happens when these conventional and unconventional things happen together. And then we will talk about that aspect of beyond, of how are we going to look to future maybe and see what is going to happen in the future if the pandemic is there and if the pandemic is not there anymore. So starting with the conventional aspect of online schooling, there are certain things that are there which were there even before online schooling started. So आपण जेव्हा कन्व्हेन्शनल विषयी बोलतोय त्यावेळेला आपल्याला ह्या गोष्टी बघायच्या आहेत की ज्या ऑनलाईन स्कूलिंग सुरू होण्यापूर्वी देखील होत्या. पहिली गोष्ट जी अजिबात बदललेली नाहीये ती म्हणजे आपण काय शिकवतोय, आपण कुठला सिलेबस वापरतोय. सो तुम्ही जे शिकता, ज्या टेक्स्ट बुक्स तुम्ही वापरताय, जे मटेरियल तुम्ही वापरताय ते आहे तशाच आहेत. The pandemic took us by surprise in a way, and we were not really prepared to go through this kind of a situation. And so what happened was we had to do with what is available. So आपल्याकडे ज्या पूर्वीच्या टेक्स्ट होत्या, जी शिकवण्याची पद्धत होती, ती आहे तशी आहे. So conventional part continues as far as the text goes, as far as the syllabus goes. Another thing that is equally important, and I think that matters a lot, is the size of the classroom. भारतामध्ये ऑलरेडी ज्या शाळा आहेत, they are already the number of students in a classroom is quite more compared to any other country out there. आपल्याकडे 60 हा आकडा आय थिंक कमीत कमी असेल, 60च्या पुढे मुलं वर्गात असतात. अनेकदा 80-80च्या तुकड्या असतात. आणि अशा वेळेला टू टीच 60 people online or 50 people online is quite a job. It's a very difficult task with which right now we are coping. आपली सेमिस्टर सिस्टम जी आहे, टाइम फ्रेम ज्याला आपण म्हणतो, ती पण सध्या आहे तशी आहे, थोडंफार मागे पुढे केलेलं आहे. पण मग वेळ तेवढाच आहे शिक्षकांकडे आणि विद्यार्थ्यांकडेही जेवढा आधी होता. सो तेवढ्या वेळात आपल्याला तेवढा अभ्यासक्रम पूर्ण करायचा आहे ऑनलाईन टीचिंग करून. हे दिस इज अनदर चॅलेंज दॅट वी हॅव. अँड ऑफ कोर्स द सिटी अँड टाउन अँड विलेज दॅट यू बिलॉंग, तुम्ही जिथे आहात ती गोष्ट सुद्धा बदलणार नाहीये. ऑनलाईन टीचिंग सुरू झालं म्हणजे आपण आपल्या ठिकाणी राहूनच ते शिकणार आहोत. सो शिक्षक असतील किंवा विद्यार्थी असतील, त्या त्या गावाप्रमाणे, त्या त्या ठिकाणाप्रमाणे त्यांना ज्या काही सोयी सुविधा उपलब्ध असतील त्यातच त्यांना काम करायला लागणार आहे. सो ॲज फार एज कन्व्हेन्शनल पार्ट गोज, दीज आर सम ऑफ द थिंग्स दॅट वी कॅन टॉक अबाउट. दॅट व्हॉट कॅन बी डू विथ द टेक्स्ट, व्हॉट कॅन बी डन अबाउट द साईज ऑफ द क्लासरूम, can we do something about the time frame, and how do we overcome the problems that are there because of the town, the city, the village that you belong to. Let us now go to the unconventional part of it. What is different? What has changed as far as this online teaching goes? The most important thing that has happened, we know it has happened, but we have to take cognizance of it, is that we are doing online teaching during the time of a deadly pandemic that is out there. So सध्या ही जी महामारी चालू आहे, ती जर नसती आणि आपण ऑनलाईन टीचिंगवर शिफ्ट झालो असतो फॉर वॉट एव्हर रिझन्स, मे बी बिकॉज ऑफ द टेक्नॉलॉजी, मे बी बिकॉज ऑफ एनी अदर रिझन, सीन वुड हॅव बीन कम्प्लिटली डिफरंट. बट नाव, सिन्स देर इज अ पॅन्डेमिक, अँड अ पॅन्डेमिक दॅट रिस्ट्रिक्ट्स अस फ्रॉम कमिंग टुगेदर, फिजिकल कॉन्टॅक्ट कोणत्याही पद्धतीचा शक्य नाही आहे. आणि अशा वेळेला अशा प्रकारे ऑनलाईन स्कूलिंग चालू असणं इज अनदर चॅलेंज दॅट वी हॅव. Economic conditions are disastrous, which are a result of the ongoing pandemic and the lockdown that was done because of, again, the same restriction that there can be no physical contact. So economic conditions are at its worst in a way since decades. And then we have shifted to online education. So again, here is we have a very good discussion point over here, that when the economic conditions are bad, we have shifted to the mode of teaching which actually requires you to have money. The mode is online with no fixed platform. This is another thing which I think can be discussed and debated. की आपण शाळांमध्ये वेगळे प्लॅटफॉर्म्स वापरतोय. झूम असेल, गुगल असेल, प्रत्येकाला सध्या जे अवेलेबल आहे, जे उपलब्ध होत आहे, ते आपण घेऊन सुरुवात केलेली आहे. पण मग हे असंच चालू शकेल का, की आपल्याला एखादा सिंगल प्लॅटफॉर्म तयार करता येईल? अनेक विद्यापीठही सध्या ह्याच्यावर काम करतायत की असा एखादा प्लॅटफॉर्म तयार करता येईल का की ज्यावरून परीक्षाही घेता येतील, लेक्चर्स अपलोड करता येतील आणि कॉपीराईटचे प्रश्नही सुटतील शिक्षकांचे, आणि विद्यार्थ्यांना सुद्धा ते कमी किमतीमध्ये उपलब्ध होईल. सो अशा प्रकारे आपण काय करू शकतो, ह्याचा आपल्याला विचार करायला लागणार. सो द मोड इज ऑनलाईन अँड देर इज नो फिक्स्ड प्लॅटफॉर्म, विच अगेन इज क्वाईट चॅलेंजिंग, आय फील. द प्लेस ऑफ वर्क. So home is the workplace now for teachers as well as students. And this, I feel, is another challenge that we're going through. This has certain advantages and it also has certain disadvantages. घरी असताना तुम्हाला तुमच्या सोयीप्रमाणे आजूबाजूच्या परिस्थिती असतात त्याप्रमाणे तुम्ही शिकू शकता. तुमची पुस्तकं तिथं अवेलेबल असतील, तुम्हाला जे पुस्तक हवं ते घेता येईल. तुम्हाला तहान लागली, भूक लागली तर ते प्रश्न येणार नाहीत. विद्यार्थ्यांना, स्पेशली जे शाळेतले विद्यार्थी आहेत, त्यांना त्या अर्थाने या सोयी आहेतच. पण त्याचबरोबर घरातले ताणतणाव असतील किंवा आपण ज्याला म्हणतो की एक वातावरण तयार होणं, जेव्हा तुम्ही वर्गात बसलेले असता त्यावेळेला अभ्यासाचं वातावरण असतं जे तुम्हाला घरात मिळणार नाही. सो ह्या वातावरणाचा शिकताना काय परिणाम होतोय, हाऊ इज इट अफेक्टिंग द लर्निंग, अँड देन ऑब्व्हियसली हाऊ इट्स अफेक्टिंग द टीचिंग. बोथ द थिंग्स आर समथिंग दॅट मस्ट बी डिस्कस्ड अँड डिबेटेड, बिकॉज इट अफेक्ट्स नॉट ओनली द स्टुडंट्स, इट ऑल्सो अफेक्ट्स द पेरेंट्स, इट अफेक्ट्स not only the teachers, it is also affecting their wards. So घर जेव्हा वर्क प्लेस बनतं त्यावेळेला त्याचे चांगले मुद्दे कुठले आहेत, त्याचे फायदे कुठले आहेत आणि त्याचे तोटे कोणते असू शकतात, यावर मला वाटतं की नक्कीच एक संवाद झाला पाहिजे. सो आपण जेव्हा कन्व्हेन्शनल बघितलं की आपण तेच शिकतो जे पूर्वी शिकायचो, तेव्हा अनकन्व्हेन्शनल काय आहे तर आपला मोड अनकन्व्हेन्शनल झालेला आहे. शिक्षक तेच आहेत, विद्यार्थी तेच आहेत, पण जिथे बसून आपण शिकायचो ती जागा बदललेली आहे. सो देर इज दॅट अनकन्व्हेन्शनल अँड देन you have a conventional that is corresponding to it. So in such a case, then we have to look at what happens when conventional meets the unconventional. So first and foremost thing which I think we should mention, we should talk about is how positively it has affected us. So whether it's teachers or students, we know that people are going extra mile to learn new things, to learn new means, to learn new technology, and also to learn through that new technology. आणि हे एक्स्ट्रा माइल्स जे मी लिहिलंय ते अक्षरशः घडतंय. आपल्याला माहिती आहे की बऱ्याच ठिकाणी जिकडे रेंजचा प्रॉब्लेम आहे, इंटरनेटचा प्रॉब्लेम आहे, कनेक्टिव्हिटीचा प्रॉब्लेम आहे, तिथे ही उदाहरणं आपण बघितली टीव्हीवर वगैरे की शिक्षक स्वतः लांब जात आहेत, शिकवतायत. विद्यार्थी देखील आपल्या घरापासून त्यांना कधी कधी लांब जायला लागतंय. सो तुमच्याकडे जी परिस्थिती आहे त्यावर मात करण्यासाठी काहीही करायची तयारी शिक्षकांनी आणि विद्यार्थ्यांनी दोघांनी दाखवलेली. सो दॅट गोइंग एक्स्ट्रा माइल is not only true about teachers, it's also true about students. It is equally true about parents. So people are going extra mile. That also is a positive aspect, I feel, of this entire thing that's happening. We have a lot of stories of resilience and cooperation. The levels of cooperation have been unprecedented in many ways. Not only the government, but also even small NGOs, even at an individual level, people have been helping out others. I myself personally know a few NGOs who, when the online teaching started, have taken efforts and provided disadvantaged group with phones, tablets, etc. So right from universities, which are trying to make the resources available, to individuals who are making sure that everyone has the required tools, the cooperation is happening at an unprecedented level, which is something that is definitely true. आता इथे आपण याविषयी बोलू शकतो की मग असं कोऑपरेशन आपण फक्त पॅन्डेमिक असताना किंवा संकटातच करतो का, की इतर वेळेला पण हे आपण करू शकतो आणि इफेक्टिव्हली इम्प्लिमेंट करून आपली शिक्षण पद्धती आपण आणखीन इफेक्टिव्ह करू शकतो का? दॅट्स गोइंग टू बी अनदर आय थिंक अ पॉइंट दॅट वी कॅन डिस्कस. अँड ऑब्व्हियसली ॲट दिस स्टेज when so much is happening, everyone has become an explorer. So आपण पाहतोय की नवीन टेक्नॉलॉजी शिकणं असेल, जे 60चे शिक्षक आहेत जवळपास आलेले किंवा 50चे शिक्षक आहेत ज्यांना टेक्नॉलॉजीची फार काही ओळख नव्हती, त्याही लोकांनी आता टेक्नॉलॉजी शिकणं भाग आहे. ते शिकतायत, प्रयत्न करतायत, नवीन गोष्टी शिकून ते इम्प्लिमेंट करायचा प्रयत्न करतायत. फळ्यावर शिकवणारे शिक्षक आता डिजिटल बोर्ड्सवर शिकायला लागलेले आहेत. विद्यार्थ्यांचंही तसंच आहे. लहान वयाचे विद्यार्थी स्पेशली जे असतील त्यांना ह्या सगळ्या गोष्टी खूप नव्या आहेत. समोर शिक्षक असणं, आजूबाजूला मित्रमंडळी असणं, त्यातून ते आता एका स्क्रीन समोर बसलेले आहेत, स्वतःच्या घरी आहेत आणि तरी देखील फोकस करणं आणि शिकणं तेवढ्या वेळासाठी. अगेन वी आर ऑल एक्सप्लोरर्स, वी आर ऑल ट्राइंग टू find our way through uncharted waters, and everyone is struggling at this period. And this struggle itself is a proof that we love to learn, we want to grow through it, and we want to overcome what we are facing. एकीकडे ही बाजू आहे खूप चांगली, खूप पॉझिटिव्ह. दुसरीकडे आपल्याला हेही बघायला लागेल की व्हॉट इज द रियालिटी ऑन द ग्राउंड ॲज फार ॲज इंटरनेट कनेक्टिव्हिटी अँड द रिसोर्सेस दॅट आर अवेलेबल इज कन्सर्न. So परत conventional, unconventional, when these things are happening, we have to take cognizance of the great Indian digital divide, as they call it. So आपण जर काही डेटा बघितला जो मी ते दिलाय, तर त्याप्रमाणे इंटरनेट पेनिट्रेशन जे आहे भारतामध्ये, इंटरनेट पेनिट्रेशन ऍक्च्युअली रिफ्लेक्ट्स हाऊ मेनी पीपल आर ऍक्सेसिंग इंटरनेट. तर अर्बन एरियाजमध्ये म्हणजे शहरी भागांमध्ये 2019च्या डेटाप्रमाणे ते फक्त 51% होतं. म्हणजे एकूण शहरी पॉप्युलेशन पैकी 51% लोक इंटरनेट वापरतात. It was even less in rural areas. It was almost half of what it is in the urban areas. So in the rural areas, the situation was even bad. It was almost around 27% in 2019. So 27% of the rural population can access internet. And when we talk about internet penetration, we must understand that we are not talking about availability of internet at home. It might be an access through some other way. It might be, let's say, mobile access or an access through internet cafe. So 27% of the rural area and 51% of the urban area has some way to access the internet, but that does not guarantee it is available 24/7 in a home. Another interesting divide is gender divide. If you look at the male-female ratio, 67% of males access internet, but only 33% of females in India can access internet. So if you look at that, it's a very serious divide. I mean, again, this divide is something that tells us that almost half of the women compared to men can access internet. So that's another serious statistic that we have to consider. Household internet access जो आहे आपला घरात अवेलेबल असलेला इंटरनेट ते लेस दॅन 25%, म्हणजे 25% कमी आहे. आणि NSSच्या 2017-18च्या डेटाप्रमाणे ते 23.8% होतं. आता वाढलं असेल, पण मग वी ऑल नो दॅट द इन्क्रीज इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी व्हेरी ड्रास्टिक. सो इट्स समवेअर अराउंड 25%. अँड इफ यू लुक ॲट इंडियन हाऊसहोल्ड्स विच हॅव स्टुडंट्स, म्हणजे ज्या घरांमध्ये विद्यार्थी आहेत, अशा घरांमध्ये इंटरनेट हे 12.5% किंवा त्याच्या आसपास आहे, असं द प्रिंटची आपल्याला न्यूज सांगतो. सो एकूण विद्यार्थी असलेली भारतातली घरं जेवढी आहेत त्यापैकी केवळ 12.5% घरांमध्ये इंटरनेटची सोय होती 2019 पर्यंत. तर ती आपण कशी मॅनेज केली आहे, ती कशी करणार आहोत. लहान गावांमध्ये किंवा लो इन्कम ग्रुपमध्ये आपण इंटरनेट पोहोचवू शकतो का, आणि त्यासाठी काय करता येईल, घरोघरी ते पोहोचवणं आवश्यक आहे का, एखादी कम्युनिटी इंटरनेट फॅसिलिटी आपण तयार करू शकतो का, असे अनेक प्रश्न आहेत ज्यावर आपण नक्कीच बोललं पाहिजे आणि त्याच्याविषयी आपली मतं नोंदवली पाहिजे. त्याशिवाय आपण अगदी शहराचा जरी विचार केला तरी आपल्याला लक्षात येतं की शहरांमध्ये देखील इंटरनेटचा प्रॉब्लेम हा खूप सिव्हिअर आणि सिरियस आहे. ब्रॉडबँड इंटरनेट असेल किंवा मोबाईल इंटरनेट असेल, दोन्हीमध्ये आपल्याला स्लो इंटरनेटचा खूप मोठा प्रॉब्लेम आहे. सेम थिंग एक्झिस्ट इन रुरल एरियाज. डेटा खूप लिमिटेड आहे. आपण ज्या वेळेला ऑनलाईन लेक्चरची गोष्ट करतो, आपण जेव्हा ऑनलाईन स्कूलिंग करतोय, तेव्हा आपल्याला हे लक्षात घ्यायचं आहे की व्हिडिओ शूट होत आहेत आणि ते मुलं बघतायत त्यावेळेला ते डाउनलोड सुद्धा होत आहेत. सो अशा वेळेला एवढा डेटा अवेलेबल असणं की दिवसातले 4 किंवा 5 लेक्चर ही मुलं बघू शकतील, हे महिनाभर नव्हे तर वर्षभर चालेल, त्याची सोय आपल्याकडे आहे का? आपण त्याचा विचार केलाय का की त्यासाठी डेटा पॅक कशा प्रकारचे लागतील? अनलिमिटेड डेटा पॅक्स जे सो कॉल्ड येतात ते नक्की त्या पद्धतीने काम करू शकतात का? ते तेवढा आपल्याला वेग देऊ शकतात का? असे अनेक प्रश्न आहेत. शिवाय जे टूल्स आवश्यक आहेत, लॅपटॉप आहे, टॅबलेट आहे किंवा स्मार्टफोन आहे, यापैकी आपल्या सर्वांना आपण सर्व हे आय थिंक मान्य करू की लॅपटॉप असणं हे सर्वात सोयीचं आहे. त्याच्यापेक्षा कमी सोयीचा टॅबलेट आणि त्यापेक्षा कमी सोयीचा मोबाईल आहे. कारण त्यावेळेला लॅपटॉप असेल तर तुम्ही किमान 4-5 गोष्टी एकत्र उघडू शकता, वाचू शकता. परंतु ह्या गोष्टी सर्वांना मिळणं, टू मेक देम अवेलेबल टू लो इन्कम ग्रुप इज गोइंग टू बी द बिगेस्ट चॅलेंज इन एज्युकेशन. आय फील that we have taken so far. When we spoke of resources important for education, so far it was the campus, it was the ground, it was the library, it was a well-equipped classroom. But with online education, all of that has changed. Now your library is online. Now you don't need a ground. You need a calm household where there are no people around you, where you can focus. Now you need a laptop or a tablet screen on which you can read for hours and hours and make notes. So we have to think about all of this, how we are going to work on it and make education accessible. Then of course there's that big question of training. आता आपण सध्या बघतोय की आपण क्लासेसना सुरुवात केली, पण त्या अर्थाने खूप कमी ठिकाणी टीचर्सना आणि लर्नर्सना त्याचं कुठलं फॉर्मल ट्रेनिंग मिळालं असेल. आपण सुरुवात केली त्या प्लॅटफॉर्म्सवर ज्यांची आपल्याला थोडीफार सवय होती, आणि ज्याप्रमाणे द वे वी डील विथ डिजिटल मीडिया, वी लर्न ॲज वी गो. सो त्या पद्धतीने आपण शिकतो आहोत ही वेगवेगळी माध्यमं, आणि आपण त्याला ऍडजस्ट होऊन त्यावर काम करतो. पण आणखी एक जो ग्रुप आहे ज्याला अजिबातच ट्रेनिंग मिळालेलं नाहीये, तो म्हणजे पालकांचा आहे, पेरेंट्स. आय थिंक इन दिस होल इक्वेशन वी स्टील हॅवंट इन्क्लुडेड पेरेंट्स ॲज मच ॲज वी शुड हॅव. अँड एस्पेशली वेन इट कम्स टू स्कूल एज्युकेशन, कारण मुलं पालकांच्या मदतीशिवाय शिकू शकणार नाहीत. सो आपल्याला पालकांना देखील यामध्ये घ्यायला लागेल. वी हॅव टू मेक देम एन इक्वल स्टेक होल्डर. वी हॅव टू ट्रेन देम फॉर दॅट. सो शिक्षकांना ऑनलाईन टीचिंगचं ट्रेनिंग देणं हा एक भाग झाला. दुसरा महत्वाचा भाग असणार आहे पालकांना ट्रेन करणं, की ज्या वेळेला तुम्ही मुलांना घेऊन बसाल, जेव्हा शिकत असतील त्यावेळेला तुम्हाला तिथे काय करायचं. Then of course there is this question of optimization of syllabi and optimization of pedagogy. आपण काय शिकवतो आणि आपण ते कसं शिकवणार आहोत, यासाठी प्रचंड संशोधनाची आवश्यकता आहे. पूर्ण जगामध्ये हे पहिल्यांदा होत आहे की सगळं शिक्षण ऑनलाईन जात आहे. आणखी आपण बघतो आहोत युरोपात सुद्धा मुलांना शाळेत परत आणण्याचेच प्रयत्न चाललेत. अजून आपण पूर्णपणे ऑनलाईन शिकवू शकू असा आत्मविश्वास अगदी त्यांना सुद्धा नाही. सो वी हॅव टू मेक शुअर दॅट हाऊ डू वी चेंज आवर way of teaching and how do we change our syllabi so that we can learn effectively when we stay away from schools and colleges. So this is going to be, I think, a very important point which needs a lot of deliberation, not only from experts, but also from every single stakeholder who is a parent as well as a student. So going ahead, let us talk a bit about the aspect of beyond now. When we talk about beyond what's happening in India in online schooling, we first have to look at how the world is coping. Sadhya jagat challay hai. So as I said, if you look at European countries, including UK or Denmark, many Scandinavian countries, they're trying to bring the students back. So आपण मुलांना परत शाळेत घेऊन जायचा प्रयत्न करतोय कारण obviously when it comes to socializing in the school, when it comes to learning in the school, there seems to be no replacement for that. A home cannot be a replacement for the school is something that many experts across the world have accepted. So what are they doing? There's a concept of bubbles or pods where the students of same age group are clubbed together. They come to school on a fixed time, they leave school together, and no other bubble or no other school group visits the campus at that time. So what you create is you effectively create social distancing or call it physical distancing between the people of pupils of the same age group. And that way, if there is infection within that bubble, that entire bubble can be isolated. And this way we can keep a better track of infections and the spread of infection. So this is one of the ideas that is being used, implemented in UK right now. Then of course, there are elaborate sanitization protocols, whether you look at Japan or you look at Taiwan, you look at European countries, students are being trained to follow certain protocols. So when you come to school, you wash your hands frequently, use sanitizers frequently, you use masks frequently. And obviously when students are playing, kids are playing, they cannot use masks. In that case, how to keep that distance effectively. All of that will have to literally develop that protocol. मग असा प्रोटोकॉल आपल्याकडे करता येईल का जिथे आपल्याकडे 60-60 किंवा 80 वर्ग आहेत अशा ठिकाणी जर हा प्रोटोकॉल करायचा असेल तर ते आपण कसं करू शकतो ह्यावर खूप चर्चा होणं आवश्यक आहे. ब्लेंडेड लर्निंग आहे म्हणजे आपण दोन्ही माध्यमं वापरायची. We use physical medium as well as we use online medium and we make sure that the contact gets reduced. So can we reduce the contact hours? ब्लेंडेड लर्निंगचा वापर करून फक्त आवश्यक गोष्टींसाठी फॉर एक्झाम्पल लॅब वर्क असेल किंवा फिजिकल एज्युकेशन असेल त्यासाठी आपण विद्यार्थ्यांना बोलवायचं का अँड फॉर ऑल द अदर थिंग्स कॅन बी शिफ्ट एव्हरीथिंग ऑनलाईन. दॅट इज अनदर थिंग दॅट वी कॅन टॉक अबाउट. आपल्याकडे नॅशनल एज्युकेशन पॉलिसी 2020 आलेली आहे विच टॉक्स क्वाईट अ लॉट अबाउट स्किल ओरिएंटेड अँड इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी अप्रोच टू एज्युकेशन. ह्या गोष्टीला आपण दोन पद्धतीने बघू शकतो. पहिली गोष्ट ही की can we train students right from the beginning in an interdisciplinary way where they become able citizens who can face such a problem henceforth in future. So if I'm someone who can understand these issues, so whether I'm a doctor, am I still be able to take up, let's say, a subject like sociology, where I understand the problems of less advantaged groups. So can we in any way use interdisciplinary education to face a problem that we might have in the future? And at the same time, अशा प्रकारच्या अप्रोचमुळे आपण ब्लेंडेड लर्निंग इफेक्टिव्हली घेऊ शकतो का ह्याचा पण विचार आपण करू शकतो. आणि शेवटचा प्रश्न जो मला टॅकल करायचा थोडासा तो हा आहे की कॅन वी गो बॅक टू नॉर्मल आणि कॅन वी गो बॅक टू नॉर्मल. आपल्याला सिच्युएशन नॉर्मलाइज व्हावी अशी प्रत्येकाची इच्छा आहे. एव्हरीवन वॉन्ट्स टू एव्हरीवन वॉन्ट्स अ वर्ल्ड वेअर पीपल कॅन कम टुगेदर, शेक हँड्स, मीट ईच अदर. द इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन इज, even if that happens, can we now remove online education from our total system, or should we keep it as it is and we make sure that that becomes an integral part of our system? Because we cannot deny that now we are slowly getting used to this kind of teaching as well as this kind of learning. We are also looking at a lot of advantages that are there in this kind of teaching and this kind of learning. So the question is it then possible for us mentally, let's say, to completely go back and do what we used to do, or should we continue what we have started? Maybe this was the future, nobody knows. कदाचित 50 वर्षांनंतर 100 वर्षांनंतर आपण असंच शिकलो असतो, आपण असंच शिकवलं असतं. हे झालेलं आहे आता. कदाचित त्याला एक व्हायरस कारणीभूत असेल. बट द क्वेश्चन इज हाऊ डू वी नाव परसीव द फ्युचर अँड व्हॉट कॅन वी डू अबाउट. अँड आय थिंक विथ दिस I would end my presentation here, and I now take it over to Akhil. Yeah.
Thank you, Ashish. You really covered a lot of points, and beginning towards the discussion, let me introduce today's participants. Our first participant is Priya Sasanani, who will be joining us for this discussion. Welcome, Priya. Priya is currently pursuing her LLB from Shankar Rao Chavan Law College, Pune. She has completed her BCom honors in entrepreneurship from Symbiosis College of Arts and Commerce. The second participant today is Rohan Chate. Rohan is a co-founder at getmoksha.com, exclusively vegan online portal. He's also a tax consultant and an entrepreneur at heart. So I welcome both the participants, and let us begin with the discussion on this topic, online schooling. I come to Rohan first for his remarks, what he thinks of the concept of online schooling in terms of execution.
Online schooling, precisely as of now, we don't have any other option to execute it in whichever way it is possible. So what we are doing right now, or what we are facing right now, is we have to accept it and we have to go ahead about it.
Right.
When we discuss about what can be better about this thing, or what betterment can be taken into this system or this execution,
Right.
this discussion becomes altogether different. For me, I believe that just take what has come to us,
Right.
and it is a kind of temporary solution that we have found out in the current stagnant and pandemic kind of a situation.
Right.
So I believe this execution is, of course, going to be difficult. There are going to be cons more than pros.
Right.
But that's how it is.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Rohan. Priya, coming to you, online education, you being a student yourself, you're kind of first-hand experiencing it. So what are your views on how do you look at it? And
Actually, there are a lot of points that go into this discussion. Ashish sir has rightly mentioned the problems, the opportunities and challenges that we are facing right now. So, of course, for me right now, the online teaching altogether is unconventional at this point of time. But I would say that we cannot say it would remain unconventional in future too. There are efforts that we could put in to make it conventional, and also look beyond what goes to conventional and unconventional. So when I talk about students around, I come to know that students are mostly forced to attend the online lectures. So my point over here is, my question what I'm trying to put on over here is, why are the students forced? Why aren't they willing to attend the online lectures? So the main point that comes to my mind is the infrastructure problem that we are facing, and the figures and the surveys that Ashish sir has rightly mentioned. We face around a lot of infrastructure problems in India. So
Right.
the thing is, how do we actually tackle this problem, right? So I have come up with certain solutions to these problems. So first of all, I would like to put on the solution to the infrastructure problem and the accessibility of internet that we face in India.
okay.
So, what initiative a Bangalore-based organization known as Parikrama Humanity Organization has done is that they have collected spare phones and laptops from individuals which are not in use anymore, and they have distributed these smartphones over underprivileged children so that they could actually use this for their online education and online schooling. So when it can be done in a particular state or a particular city, why can't we do this on a global level? This is one solution that we could go ahead with. And the other thing is that मेरे दादाजी बोलते थे कि जब हम गांव में रहा करते थे तब हम लोग एक बड़ा सा स्क्रीन लगा के सब बैठ के मैच देखते थे. So my question over here is, why don't we use such platforms, such huge projectors when we go into rural areas, and why don't we put such infrastructure and projectors in use for online schooling? It could be really beneficial at this point of time to make use of such resources. The other point is that the Doordarshan, it has it has footprint over 86% of geographical area in India. So why do we even need internet or any other facilities when we have Doordarshan, which has a coverage all over India? And government and universities can rightly make use of these television broadcasts and radio broadcasts, and give acceleration to the online schooling.
Right.
The next
Uh,
point.
yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting point that you have raised, Priya, and I'd like to take this point, focus on this one, that you're talking about streamlining of resources. Many times we are left wanting for a resource, but we don't streamline. आपल्याकडे गोष्टी असतात, पण त्या कशा वापरायच्या याकडे कधीतरी sometimes maybe policy, maybe that thought process doesn't come. Ashish, you want to weigh in on this one?
Yeah. I think first of all, I'd agree with Priya that we need more organized efforts. And as you said, if we can streamline the resources, I think we have enough resources to take care of a lot of things that are happening right now. However, I'd like to mention two things, Priya. One, you spoke of television, Doordarshan, for example, it has quite a footprint. We definitely know that central government as well as state government is trying to actually bring out educational channels, channels which would be dedicated even to certain syllabi, which can be taught through TV. However, the difference between learning through television and learning through internet would be absence of a moderator or absence of a teacher. So when you learn through television, it's going to be almost like, watching a video on YouTube, let's say. But when you learn through any available application like Zoom or Google, the difference is that you will have a teacher online. Obviously, we will have to redefine the teacher role. Now, teachers in India will have to learn to be facilitators and not merely teachers. So that's why I said, teacher training is very important in this case. So if you can become a facilitator with minimum intervention, then what you're saying can definitely work out. So then television can be used, or YouTube can be used for that matter, to learn. And then with minimum teacher intervention, we can actually teach those things effectively. And then students don't even need to be forced to sit for lectures. Hopefully they'll go there themselves to learn through YouTube. Yeah.
Yes. Rohan, your views on the same?
Yeah. This TV use, like, I agree with the fact that we have quite a lot of resources which can be used. Of course, the time is the main factor, because though we have resources, we are going to need a lot of time to accommodate them and to understand how those can be used. So that is point one. And point two, regarding, I believe it is a combination of what Ashish and Priya, both of them were discussing. Even as of now, in many schools, we can see teachers are sending recorded videos. They're asking students to see it, and then the education process is being taken ahead. So those things are done in parts and pieces right now. So those videos can anyways be recorded and can be displayed through Doordarshan. Of course, there will be many other obstacles also in it, which will be difficult to execute, but just specifically about that point. And nothing personal against Priya, but even the combination which you said of having a projector, or the way earlier we used to watch big things on TV, on projector commonly. Again, I believe that, of course, these are all small things with which we all can come up. Of course, it will be having more of, again, negative aspects attached to it in terms of dealing with pandemic that we have, because again, a projector means a common platform, means a common gathering of people, though with a separate.
Hello.
I believe that these small things will come from many people. We have to make some modifications in order to keep it focused as a response to this pandemic. This all will be taking a bit of time, and then it becomes another issue that any which ways we were going through for online education even before pandemics. There were many courses which were available online. There were many classes which were successful and very popular online. So the concept had reached us. The only problem that has happened is that earlier it was pick and choose. We had an option to go for online, not to go for online, make our own options. Now it has become compulsory. And whenever and anytime something becomes compulsory, then it comes up with a lot of problems. If there is an option, I'm completely fine with it. And if somebody is asking me to do it compulsorily, then I have numerous problems with it. So those things will come up. A human tendency to deal with all these things.
I have one question for everyone, like participants and the presenter, even Akhil. Today I was reading one survey by BBC News India, and that survey was saying that this pandemic hit Indian economy so hard that the poverty has increased. So, because of this poverty, online education is not or rather, the education of children is not the priority for many Indian parents. And even that
Right.
survey was saying that because of this pandemic and because of this worst economic conditions, there is much increase in child trafficking and child marriages. So the point or the question which I want to raise or I want to put is, what is your views on, because see, when we are talking about India or when we are talking about online education right now, we have to consider this fact that every society in world, or every society is on different page regarding online education. And when we are talking about society like India, again, आपण भारताबद्दल एकसंध मत नाही नोंदवू शकत की हे बरोबर आहे किंवा हे चुकीचं आहे. त्याच्यात प्रचंड क्लास, कास्ट इश्यूज आहेत, अर्बन रुरल डिवाइड्स आहेत, त्यातले स्टेक होल्डर्स खूप वेगळे वेगळे आहेत. त्यात भारतासारख्या सोसायटीमध्ये पॉवर्टीचा मुद्दा आपण इग्नोर करून पुढे जाऊ शकत नाही. सो मला सर्व प्रेझेंटर्स म्हणजे प्रेझेंटर आणि पार्टिसिपंट्सना हेच विचारायचं की तुम्हाला काय वाटतं की ही सगळी चर्चा गरिबीचा मुद्दा आल्यानंतर कुठेतरी तळाला जाते आणि असं होतं की अरे हो खरंच आहे की आता जर मग त्याच्यामध्ये पालकांचं ट्रेनिंग असेल किंवा स्मार्टफोन्सची अवेलेबिलिटी असेल, इलेक्ट्रिसिटीची अवेलेबिलिटी असेल, हा मुद्दा परे राहतो आणि पॉवर्टीचा मुद्दा मध्ये येतो, जो आशिषनी खूप चांगलं सांगितलं की ऑनलाईन एज्युकेशन हे ज्या काळात वापरायला पाहिजे त्याच्या एक्झॅक्ट विरुद्ध काळात आपल्याला आता वापरावं लागतंय. आणि ॲज रोहन सेड, वी डोंट हॅव एनी अदर ऑप्शन बट टू चूज इट और बट टू गो विथ इट. सो तुमचं याच्याबद्दल काय मत आहे किंवा या मुद्द्याकडे आपण कसं बघणार जेव्हा पॉवर्टी मध्ये येते तेव्हा? कोणी म्हणजे आशिष, रोहन, कोणी
Ashish,
बोलू
yeah.
शकतो?
Begin with Ashish and then he'll come back to Rohan. Yes, Ashish.
Yeah. Neha, this is a very pertinent thing that you mentioned. Let me also add to that. It's not just about this. You would know that there is also a problem of gender divide.
Yeah.
जो मी मेन्शन केला होता.
Yes.
आणि असंही आहे की if you look at this issue of child trafficking as well as dropouts,
Yeah.
When the priority of when the education is not the priority, the first who is withdrawn is a girl child.
Yes.
So the girl child loses the opportunity first, and then it's the male child who might lose the opportunity. So we have to make sure, I think when we talk about any issue about India, as you said, first of all, that it's very difficult to have a homogeneous single discussion on this issue.
Yes.
But I think as far as education goes, and if you look at the policy that we have compulsory education till the age 14, let's say.
Yeah.
So in that case, I don't think we can even begin the discussion unless we talk about poverty.
Yes.
So the discussion has to start there.
Yes.
It's not that we have to consider it later. The discussion must begin there.
Yes. Yes.
What happened in online schooling? Well, it was a knee-jerk reaction because it suddenly happened and we started with whatever resources we have. But when it comes to policy making, the policy must start from the grassroots.
Yes.
So we have to first tackle the problem of disadvantaged sector. We have to first tackle the problem of small villages where, if you know, खूप ठिकाणी midday meals जे आहे आपलं.
Yes.
That was one of the important incentives why people used to send their kids.
Yes.
कारण आपल्याकडे दोन्ही वेळचं जेवण मिळणारी कुटुंबही फार कमी आहेत.
Yes.
सो मिड डे मील बंद झालेलं आहे, मग त्यासाठी काय करता येईल, मग आपण ते घरी पोहोचवू शकतो का? सो ह्या सगळ्या गोष्टींचा पॉलिसी मेकिंग मध्ये सगळ्यात आधी विचार झाला पाहिजे. ही नीजर्क रिएक्शन आहे, आपण सुरुवात केली आहे ठीक आहे, पण आपण पॉवर्टी नंतर घेऊच शकत नाही.
Very well said. Very well said. Very well said.
Yeah, interesting that you brought the point of midday meal, because one of our viewers has asked exactly this question, that midday meal was one of the driving force towards school enrollment in majority of the government schools in India. So we have to tackle that point. Yes, I'll go to Rohan and then I'll come to Priya. Yeah, Rohan, you
can have a word.
Okay, Priya.
Yes. So you're right. The question that has been raised is rightfully stated that, midday meal was kind of a reason that students were sent to school. So today when I woke up in the morning, I read a news wherein it was stated that Delhi High Court has directed the government to provide free, smartphones and laptops to economically weaker sections. So this could be a reason wherein people could take interest again for going for sending the students
Enrollment.
for online
Yeah.
education and schooling. So
Yes.
again, I would say that we just need to look at the other side of the coin and look for alternatives, because I believe that there are alternatives to every problem, every option that we have. It's just that we need to open our horizon and look out to such alternatives.
I think the point which was raised by Ashish during his presentation, that universities are working on making economically reasonable platforms which will be affordable for all the students. I think it's the I find it very innovative, this solution, because there are many parents who can't afford Zoom or the other web platforms, and we need to understand is that online learning is here to stay. We can't get rid of it so easily now on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yes,
Rohan.
Rohan, you have a point to make. Yes, Rohan.
Like one point which was recently mentioned about the universities working on certain options.
Yeah.
Of course,
Right.
everybody would be working, but I believe still that work is going to take a lot of time
Mm.
at the
Mhm.
sector or today's purpose, immediate
Okay.
purpose. And second thing about the earlier point was that human trafficking, which child trafficking or the poverty issue. I believe all these issues are there even before pandemic and during pandemic. There are certain extent, but like some of them might have increased because of this reason. As they say that during pandemic, the deaths which used to happen because of accident, the number was much more higher than the deaths that we are actually facing because of corona or COVID
Right.
situation. So it is like there had been some problems which have been curtailed down. There had been some problems which have increased. And like my personal approach towards poverty or trafficking or anything, of course, these problems are critical, these problems are severe. But when we are talking about education in general, the way it happens in school or in the way it happens in any classroom, when teacher is teaching, he teaches to the scholars as well as he teaches to the what we call the dumbest person as well. So it is like we are talking about online education in general. It will reach to some, it won't reach to some. Some would be able to garner some benefit out of it. Some will suffer because of it. This is kind of part and parcel of the game. We can't help it.
पण
Right.
तुम्हाला असं वाटत नाही का
Right.
रोहन,
So-
की आपण जेव्हा असं म्हणतो की काही लोकांना ते मिळतं आणि काही लोकांना ते मिळत नाही, किंवा काही लोकांना त्याचा फायदा होतो, काही लोकांना होत नाही, तर मुळात असं तुम्हाला वाटत नाही का की अशा पद्धतीने त्या प्रश्नाकडे बघणं हे अवघड प्रश्नांचं कुठेतरी आपण आपल्या पातळीवरती सोपं उत्तर काढायचा प्रयत्न करतोय? इट्स जस्ट मला असं वाटलं
खूप
की
जणांना
असं आहे का?
की शाळेमध्ये माझे काही मित्र बाईक घेऊन यायचे, मी सायकलवर जायचो. माझे काही मित्र माझ्या घराच्या लांबून पण चालत यायचे. Everybody is having their own struggles.
Right.
Even if it is online schooling or even if it is a physical or a traditional schooling, which we can call, every system, when you're part of it, you have to or one has to face certain problems. If we go into comparatives, of course there are problems, but then if we keep on focusing on those problems, then aren't we neglecting the ones which are, like, I believe the best way to do many things at a time is to do one thing at a time. So likewise, we are having several problems, I agree, but then to deal with all of them is, let us deal with one
day at a time.
one by one. And then
So,
let us deal with simpler ones, get over with them, and then go to the difficult ones. It is a
Right,
very serious issue which you mentioned,
Right.
but it will need altogether separate.
So, yeah. So regarding the stakeholders that online schooling entails, in every classroom today, a parent is present. That is what a teacher feels, right? If I'm teaching a student, there is a parent standing behind. This was not the case before, but today, probably it is unconventional, probably it is beyond. So as a teacher, this is also that factor plays in on the mind. What I'm trying to bring to the next into the discussion is that the environment of teaching. A classroom basically separates the kid from his home. त्याला घरातून आपण बाहेर काढतो, त्याला एक वेगळी एक इन्स्टिट्यूशन देतो. शाळा एक इज अ सेफ प्लेस फॉर अस जनरली, आणि त्या स्ट्रक्चर मध्ये त्या एन्व्हायरमेंट मध्ये आपण टीचिंगची प्रोसेस होत असेल. नाव दॅट एंटायर इक्वेशन हॅज चेंज, जसं की आशिष हॅज ऑल्सो पॉइंटेड आउट. सो what Ashish do you think, what should be the change that should come into, say, pedagogy in the training, that how do you teach a person non-physically, त्याच्या शेजारी उभं राहून त्याला न शिकवणं, how does this come into place, and what do you think?
One more question to Ashish as well, like in the same regard, and he being a teacher, now he is in Pune and in teaching in college, so he has a better background altogether. But what I have seen in small towns or medium towns, not even small towns, medium towns, is that it is like now students are on their home ground and teachers are very lacking in confidence about the overall technology. I can see this problem on many levels. Like teacher are having the primary problem of using of technology, using of devices, and students are much more confident. It happens that when teacher tries to come up with some sort of question set, many smart students go out of the session and they join in again once the question session is over. These are the small problems, but they affect confidence of a teacher. Now, of course, you are having a different scale altogether, but there are some teachers who are aged, like there are a lot of our generation, my uncle, my aunties, those 50, 55 aged people. Now, problem with them is the problem of confidence or how it affects their mentality that I wanted to understand. That now students are very confident about the platform.
Yes.
Teachers are very much confused that what exactly is going on. So, and they have to prove their seniority and teacherity also in front of students. So how would that balance? What will you suggest?
Basically, to put in short words, how does the environment come? I'll be taking the short answer from Ashish as well as from Priya, because we'll be getting the both sides of the question. That Ashish, you first.
Yeah. So, as I mentioned, it's an unprecedented thing that has happened. All right. Maximum what we were used to. I mean, last few years we had started working on e-content management and e-content development and all of that. At least at university level, it used to happen. At school level, it was still in progress. I don't know how much it reached there. But making a video was one thing, but teaching online is another. And as you rightly mentioned, Akhil, the feeling that now you have the kids' parents standing there and judging you. There was actually very recently an article on that too, on how that's affecting this mentality of teachers also. So it's like, you're working now in a doubly pressured background. You wouldn't believe, when I start my lectures, or, although I am in ILS and I go there and teach and we have good internet connection, I have to constantly keep checking if students can listen to me, because it's not just a problem at my end. There might be a problem at the students' end also. So I keep asking, am I audible? Am I audible? Then there is a chat box available to you. You may use that and teach.
Right.
So as I said, this is something that has happened for the first time in the entire world. So we don't have a ready training material for that, a ready pedagogy for that. So it's almost like, we are learning as we go. But I'm very much hopeful that as time passes, and Rohan pointed this out very rightly, that, right now what we are doing is quite a niche thing. It's a temporary thing. We are learning through it. And maybe we will have some kind of an SOP very soon, a training for teachers, which will help them. The second point that Rohan mentioned about what to do with those who are a bit old and who are aged. And if you look at students, they're sharper when it comes to technology. I think, Rohan, if we can make technology more accessible and easier for all the age groups to adapt to, it won't take much of a time. It's almost like, teaching from, let's say, when you change a college, when you change a classroom, when you change the mode of teaching, there is going to be a certain hiccups in the beginning. But if the right training is provided, irrespective of age, I believe anyone can learn technology. And that's the best part about technology. We know that every parents and grandparents now use WhatsApp very happily. They send videos, they do video calls. So if that is possible, I think even teaching is possible. We have to make sure that we develop a robust program, a robust training program for the teachers as soon as possible, so that it is taken care of. Yeah.
I have a question regarding this point only. Just if we have to sum up the discussion, like not sum up, but if we have to categorize the solution part, can we categorize it in short-term solutions, long-term solutions, or moderate term solution, mid-term solutions, we can say? So can we do this? Because as you mentioned, there is technology part involved, there is training upgradation part involved. So असे बरेच फॅक्टर्स आहेत ज्याच्यावर आपल्याला काम करायला पाहिजे. सो आपण शॉर्ट टर्म, मिड टर्म असं त्याचं काही बायफर्केशन करून त्याप्रमाणे काम करू शकतो का? तुम्हाला काय वाटतं? प्रिया, रोहन, एनीवन कॅन आन्सर.
Priya? Yeah.
I think absolutely you're right. There are certain problems and solutions that will run in short term, mid term, and long term. So, infrastructure problem definitely will take a long term thing to accomplish. And what we could bifurcate in short term is that we could give a certain, the government has started with these programs known as Diksha and eSwayam, wherein training is given to teachers to, as both Ashish and Rohan rightly pointed out, that you need to boost the confidence of teachers, not only students but also teachers who become very conscious when actually they teach online. So what we can do is boost up these programs like Diksha and eSwayam, so that there is a boost in the confidence of teachers as well. And the another thing that I would state is, the another problem that we face is that student, teacher, and parent relationship. What about that? So this is my personal solution that I've come up with, which goes as in that we have facing unemployment at a huge scale right now. So what we could do is, we could make a group of 15 students and appoint a mentor or a person who is in training for teaching, who has not yet completed his teaching, and appoint that mentor for 15 students, so that he could be a link between student, teacher, and parents, so that whatever the questions or queries it's on either of the sides can be communicated well to each other. So this
Right.
could be one midterm solution that I thought we should come up with.
Yes.
So,
yeah. Long-term solutions, I would like to know from you, Ashish, because you have spoken about, do we go back to the future? That is a very interesting thing. Do we go back to the normal or do we go back to the future? Your comments.
Yeah, I think, see, if you ask my personal opinion, once you are used to technology, there's no going back, is what I feel. Yes, we will resume the classrooms. Yes, long term, if you think about long term, classrooms have to begin, because the very idea of a school or a college is it's a platform for people to socialize. So if you look at school education, we know that it's a way of knowing kids of your own age. It's a way of mingling in the society. And schools and colleges are actually the cradles through which we get our citizens.
Right,
so I
right.
think people coming together is a necessity. And out of that only, we have created this entire system of schools and colleges. So
Right.
classrooms must begin. There is no doubt about that. But at the same time, if we are now used to this technology, we must integrate it at as much a level as we can when we are teaching. So आपल्याला ही काळजी घ्यायला लागणार आहे की आपण परत जाता कामा नये. म्हणजे तुम्ही जे शिकलात ते विसरून चालणार नाही. आपल्याला आता कॉलेजेसनी किंवा शाळांनी जे पूर्वी अगदी हळूहळू व्हायचं किंवा कदाचित व्हायचं नाही बऱ्याच ठिकाणी, असं अपग्रेडेशन करून टाकलेलं आहे ऑलरेडी. सो भले लहान शाळा असतील, मोठ्या शाळा असतील, लहान कॉलेज असेल, मोठं कॉलेज असेल, कदाचित इंटरनेट कनेक्शन स्लो असेल, पण ते आहे. पूर्वी त्याचा वापर खूप कमी व्हायचा. आपल्याला माहिती असेल, आय एम शुअर प्रिया नोज दॅट there used to be laboratories, computer laboratories and all.
Computer
and they were
laboratories.
hardly
Cool.
used. Yeah, they were hardly used.
Right.
आता आपल्याला
Right.
माहिती आहे की आता ह्याचा वापर वाढणार आहे, कारण आपल्याला
Right.
कळालं की कसं वापरता येईल. आता आपण हेही शिकायला लागलो की इंटरनॅशनल कॉन्फरन्सेस असतील, त्या अरेंज करायला जे रिसोर्सेस आपण वापरायचो, त्याची एवढी गरज नाहीये जर तुम्ही ऑनलाईन ते घेऊ शकत असाल. तुम्हाला एखादा शिक्षक जो आहे, हु इज फ्रॉम ऑक्सफर्ड और केम्ब्रिज, नाउ कॅन इझिली कनेक्ट विथ यू in your time, the time unit that you give them, and they can come and teach you maybe.
Right.
So I
Right.
think long term चा विचार जर केला तर आपल्याला आपला अभ्यासक्रम आता असा बदलायला लागणार आहे. And I think NEP 2020 is quite a positive
You mean the
document.
National Education Policy
It's
2020?
a very
Yes.
positive document in that way. It
Right.
talks about interdisciplinary teaching. It talks about breaking the barriers that we had so far. सो आपण अशी अपेक्षा करू की आता ह्यापुढे जेव्हा NEP इम्प्लिमेंट होईल, त्याच्यावरचं काम सुरू झालं त्यावेळेला यापैकी काही झालेलं नव्हतं. पण जेव्हा ते पब्लिश झालेलं आहे त्यावेळेला आता आपल्याला वी हॅव टू रिइंटरप्रिट इट नाउ. सो आपण त्याचं रिइंटरप्रिटेशन त्या पद्धतीने करून तशा प्रकारचे अभ्यासक्रमातले बदल आता घडवायला हवे.
Great. So we have addressed a lot of points, and I'd also like to bring in participants have been asking us many questions. And incidentally, we have also addressed some of those questions. So we had a question from Mr. Abhishek Kumar regarding the midday meal, which we have addressed. I would like to point out one more point that Abhishek has asked, that also talks about peer learning. You learn in a peer group.
Yes.
right? And that is not possible here. So how do you address that peer learning? Because that forms an important part of a education for a school kid. बिकॉज आपण कुठल्याही लहान शाळेतल्या एका विद्यार्थ्याला विचारलं, लहान तिसरी चौथी दुसरीतला मुलगा असेल, तुझ्या शाळेतल्या तुझ्या मित्रांची नावं काय, मग तो सांगतो माझा हा मित्र आहे, माझा तो मित्र आहे. अँड दिस इटसेल्फ इट्स अ रिलेशनशिप बिल्डिंग ऍक्टिव्हिटी. सो हाऊ डू यू लुक ॲट इट, आशिष, अँड देन Priya?
Yeah, I think Priya had a very interesting thing to mention about mentorship. She said 15 students and a mentor.
Yes.
You know, imagine if we can totally change our way of looking at school. आपल्याला काय सवय की वी हॅव 6 hours ऑफ स्कूल आणि एक तासाचे किंवा अर्धा तासाचे लेक्चर्स आणि एकच शिक्षक आहे जो एक विषय शिकवतोय. ट्राय टू redesign that thing entirely. What if we have 1 hour of teaching in the conventional method, and then if we have mentors for small groups of people, and then online they meet in those small groups and they are given the freedom to learn on them as good as they can. So what was possible as a peer group learning offline, we can bring it online as much as we can. आपण ज्याप्रमाणे बाकी एज्युकेशन ऑनलाईन आणलेलं आहे तसं पियर लर्निंग पण ऑनलाईन येऊ शकतं, provided we are ready to change our perception about how we teach. So as I said, if teachers learn to become facilitators, if teachers become guides instead of spoon feeding, I think if you have learner autonomy, I think in pedagogy you know this word, those of you who are in teaching and learning. So if we can bring in more learner autonomy, we can easily accomplish this. And this is actually a very good chance for us to try this out if it can happen online. Mentorship is very challenging because we know that we have large classes, but if we can divide them properly, or as Priya said, if we can employ more people. And when it comes to employment, let me also tell Priya that, imagine employing more people when the economy has shrunk like anything. It's going to be a very big challenge. It's quite easy sitting here and talking about it, but we know that employment itself has become a problem now. So we'll have to, as I said, it's quite challenging, but at the same time, there are so many opportunities here that if we are ready to take them, it can change our learning and teaching forever.
Right. A little different question I want to bring in, a little different perspective. Can we look at this issue as an opportunity to reform our education system, which is unfortunately based on concept of reward and punishment, instead of instilling a self-discipline and interest? So I think Priya also had raised this point that we want to attract the students. So earlier it was you go to school or you get punished. Now we want the student to come into this. Question has been asked by Bhavna. Priya, I want to know your comments on this. How do we look at this as instilling a self-discipline among the students?
Yes. As I've earlier stated that, you could provide different incentives, like let's say a laptop or smartphones, which will attract a group of people towards online schooling, and this would actually make the studies more interesting. So I think this is one thing that we could do. Apart from this is that the sense of self-motivation is very difficult, but also when we do this, it attracts another thing, is that the students learn self-discipline. So when we talk about punishment and reward thing, which we see as a wrongful thing, we could also see the other thing is that during the online schooling, the discipline factor that comes in and the sense of responsibility that comes in for students may inculcate another value altogether in students. That is the values of discipline and self-responsibility. So I won't say that it will happen in a short period of time. It will definitely take more efforts from government, universities, teachers, as well as the parents, who play a major role in motivating and disciplining students regarding this.
Right.
Right. It's only the responsibility of all this together that we make interesting all the schooling education that we're talking about.
Rohan, I have a question from a viewer and I'd like to address it to you. The question says that maybe education as a business has to stop and start as a necessity for a nation building. I want to bring in the factor of edtech, you being an entrepreneur and from the technology side, that we are seeing great, let's say, progress by leaps and bounds as far as edtech is concerned, edtech companies. and they have gone to the extent of probably sponsoring the cricket team. So what do you feel about the scenario of EdTech, and how does it matter, and what market will EdTech be able to address?
Like EdTech, I believe the question was a bit different. He was mentioning that shall we take out the business
about the business and a necessity, but now EdTech is a business, is a big business. So
Yeah,
with a great investment. So I want to bring in that also. Yeah.
Business can't be taken out from any process, which basically it is a necessity. If education is a primary need, we can say it has to be there. If it has to be there, it has to be executed. If it has to be executed on large scale, business will automatically will come into picture. And then ultimately it only solves your other problems of poverty and many other things which you ideally refer in some other context. So there is no point in highlighting over the fact that why business angle is there into a education system. We can be lenient about it. We can be kind of favorable, non-favorable about certain sections of the society, but you can't completely keep out business angle out of any system, precisely out of educational system also. And regarding this EdTech companies, now it is going to increase. Like now, if you're discussing about online education, it is implied. Now, education and tech, what you mentioned, it is going to have a better market, better scenarios, better opportunities. It is ultimately going to create better employment. It is ultimately going to add value addition to your procedures as well. The better the recruitment, the better the employee, the better his inputs, the better the system, the better students ultimately. It is a circle. Now it is up to you whether to call it as a beneficial circle or a vicious circle is completely up to you. But if you look at the better side of the brighter side of it, the business has to be there, EduTech has to be there, EduTech is going to prosper, and it is going to benefit all the students as well as teachers. If we want a better system, it has to get contribution from that sector.
Right. Interesting that you bring out the point of efficiency, because when technology comes in through the EduTech mode, obviously it definitely comes with the efficiency, because without efficiency it cannot survive in the market. Neha, yes, you were making a point. Yes.
येस, नाही मला एकच महत्वाची आकडेवारी इथे सांगायची, कदाचित त्यांनी सुद्धा आपल्या डिस्कशनचा टोन बदलेल असं मला वाटलं. तुम्ही सगळेही त्याच्यात अर्थातच बोलू शकता की सगळ्यात मी मगाशी म्हटलं तसं की आपण एक डेव्हलपिंग नेशन आहोत आणि आपण डेव्हलप्ड नेशन नाही आहोत. खूपदा असं होतं की एज्युकेशन असेल किंवा डिफेन्स असेल, हे जे यासारखे जे विषय असतात त्यावेळेला आपल्याला अशी खूप इच्छा होते की आपण युरोप किंवा अमेरिका किंवा अशा देशांबरोबर आपण स्वतःला सातत्याने कम्पेअर करत असतो. आणि त्या अंगाने जसं आता रोहननी काही मुद्दे मांडले की बिझनेस डेव्हलपमेंट असेल, एफिशियन्सी असेल, प्रोफेशनलिझम असेल, हे सगळे मुद्दे हे खूप आपण सातत्याने एका डेव्हलप्ड सोसायटीज बरोबर ताडून बघत असतो. मला फक्त असं एकच मुद्दा इथे मांडायचा आहे की 2014 आणि 15 साली, इन 2014 and 15, government spending on education was 4.14%. And in 2021, this is the latest figure which I have, 2020 and 21, right now government is spending on education is just 3.2% of its GDP. सो मला असं वाटतं की जेव्हा आपण डेव्हलपिंग नेशनच्या अंगाने चर्चा करतो, आणि अर्थातच हे सगळे या सगळ्या गोष्टींना वेळ लागणार आहे, जसं आपण म्हणतो तसं की ते लॉंग टर्म सोल्युशनचा एक भाग आहे, आणि त्याच्यात नॅशनल एज्युकेशन पॉलिसी सारखी गोष्ट आहे की ज्यांनी आता हळूहळू 1 day at a टाइम, बेबी स्टेप्स अशा आपण घ्यायला लागलेलो आहोत. पण मला असं वाटतं की जर सगळ्या अंगाने या विषयाकडे बघायचं असेल तर आपल्याला हाही त्यातला फॅक्टर लक्षात घेतला पाहिजे की भारतासारख्या देशात अजूनही खूप मोठ्या प्रमाणात कल्याणकारी राज्य ही संकल्पना अस्तित्वात आहे, वेलफेअर स्टेट. सो असं नाहीये की देर आर प्रायव्हेट प्लेयर्स कमिंग इन अँड प्रायव्हेट युनिव्हर्सिटीज आर कमिंग इन, आणि खूप सारी जरी ते असलं एडटेक इंडस्ट्रीज कमिंग इन, बट स्टील मेजॉरिटी ऑफ इंडियन पॉप्युलेशन इज स्टील डिपेंडंट ऑन इंडियन स्टेट. सो ही आपली फिलॉसॉफी आहे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनची की वी आर वेलफेअर स्टेट. सो मला असं वाटतं की कुठल्याही पद्धतीने आज या पॅनलमध्ये उपस्थित असलेले सगळे लोक किंवा हा डिबेट बघत असलेली सगळी लोक, आपण सगळेच जण समाजासाठी काहीतरी करणार आहोत आणि आपण सतत काहीतरी बेटरमेंटसाठी प्रयत्न करतोय. पण लार्जर पिक्चरचा विचार करता आता आपण जीडीपी स्पेंडिंग मध्ये आता या लेवलवर आहोत. सो तुम्हाला त्याच्याबद्दल काही कमेंट करायचे असतील तर प्लीज म्हणजे गो हेड, मला खूप आवडेल ऐकायला.
येस रोहन.
दोन गोष्टी आहेत त्याच्यामध्ये. वन पॉइंट विच यू मेन्शन अबाउट कम्पेअरिंग आवर सेल्फ विथ द फॉरेन कंट्रीज, विच आय पर्सनली डोंट प्रेफर कम्पेअरिंग, कारण ऑल टुगेदर बेसिस डिफरंट आहेत. त्यांच्याकडेही त्यांचे प्रॉब्लेम्स आहेत. जस्ट फॉर एक्झाम्पल, माइट बी आउट ऑफ कॉन्टेक्स्ट, युएस मध्ये आपण खूपदा वाचतो की शाळेमध्ये गोळीबार झाला. आय
Yes.
डोंट बिलीव्ह आपण
Yes.
आपल्याकडे अशी कुठली न्यूज वाचलेली असेल. सो इट इज अ कम्प्लिटली सोशल
Yes, yes,
डिफरंट
yes.
बॅकग्राऊंड दॅट दे हॅव. अँड सेकंडली अबाउट गव्हर्नमेंट स्पेंडिंग ऑन एज्युकेशन सिस्टीम. आता आपलेच गव्हर्नमेंट मधले जी रिस्पॉन्सिबल आणि चांगल्या पदावरची लोक आहेत तेच बिनदिक्कतपणे म्हणतात की आम्ही जेव्हा 100 रुपये एका गोष्टीला अलॉट करतो ते खाली पोहोचेपर्यंत 10 रुपये होतात. तर ते 3% स्पेंड करतात का 4% स्पेंड करतात का नक्की काय स्पेंड करतात या पर्सेंटेजवरती बोलण्यापेक्षा I believe if we have certain expectations from government, rather than discussing what they have done, my approach would be let us come together, define what we need, and follow up with the government for those specific demands. कारण आपण त्यांच्या पर्सेंटेज मध्ये, त्यांच्या असाइनमेंट मध्ये, त्यांच्या मोडस ऑपरेंडी मध्ये अडकलो तर any which ways we will just end up analyzing and finding out nooks out of the system. Instead, let us come together, plan what exactly we need, and follow for those demands from, of course, the government itself, but that will fetch us better results instead of analyzing what they are apportioning. That is what I feel.
Ashish, you want to add anything?
Yeah. There are two things that I'd like to say. First of all, I'd like to go back to that question of business. Take the business out of the education, make it, more, let's say, I don't know what exactly is intended through that question. But let me tell you, instead of pulling the business out, as Rohan said, first of all, we can't do that. I mean, in today's mixed economy that we have, it's almost impossible. I think we must rather look for a value-based business approach, where the businesses are not going to look at only profiteering and not at all are going to look at their social responsibilities. And if we can make sure that the compliance happens properly, if we can devise a mechanism, like, now for CSR, we saw that compared to what it used to happen, let's say 3-4 decades ago, now the
Yes.
CSR compliance is much more. So
Yes.
that way, when it comes to business and education, can we make it compliance based? Can we bring in value based business into education? That can be maybe one of the ways of doing it. Because, there is no point stopping private players who can give you quality education.
Yes.
But at the same time, we cannot act like we are the only privileged group who needs education, and we cannot ignore the masses. Another thing, of course, as Neha rightly pointed out, we have to think about government spending on education. And as Rohan pointed out, can we really think of a pressure group that can actually make it happen? So I think citizen pressure groups have always worked well when it comes to getting the right results from the government. So we have student bodies, we have teacher bodies. They must be much more proactive now in making sure that education reaches the masses. And
Right.
the very philosophy of welfare state, I believe, is the basis of every single progress that is made in India. I'm sure everyone who's sitting here, if we go 2 to 3 generations back, we actually belong to maybe a group which was not as affluent as we are today. And we must not forget that because of this welfare state, this philosophy that we have made this social progress, we have made this economic progress. And that's why, this very pertinent question that what about those kids who are coming to school for midday meal, we cannot forget that. आश्रम शाळा आहेत आपल्याकडे खूप साऱ्या, आणि आश्रम शाळांमध्ये विद्यार्थी असतील किंवा प्राथमिक शाळांमध्ये अशा विद्यार्थी जे येतात, the percentage of those students is much more compared to privileged kids who are going to schools in urban areas. So, what is happening is we should also learn how media forms our perceptions. Media covers only good things, and then we think that, everything is fine. If you do not cover rural areas, if you do not cover ashram shalas, if you do not know the problems that are there, that are faced by them, मग एक परसेप्शन असं तयार होतं की ठीक आहे, आपण त्या प्रॉब्लेम्सकडे नंतर बघू आणि आपण सुरुवात इथून करूया. आय थिंक दॅट्स वेअर बीइंग एक्स्ट्रीमली विजिलंट ॲज अ सिटिझन मॅटर्स. सो आपल्याला हे खूप विजिलंट होऊन बघायला लागणार आहे की काय आपण आजूबाजूला बघतो. प्रिया हॅड मेड अ पॉइंट, दॅट इफ वी कॅन इन्सेंटिव्हाइज एज्युकेशन बाय गिव्हिंग गॅजेट्स. what, there are many families who would rather prefer going and selling that gadget, which they get for free, so that they can eat for next 8 days.
Yes.
Right now, when we know what happened with laborers, we know what happened with migrants. We right now know that in economy is still -9% in this quarter too. So we have to think about these issues too. We have to make sure that midday meal continues, maybe in some other form. So what that form can be? Can we as citizens make groups where we facilitate that? So all of that has to, I think, come into picture. And when we think, we must be careful that that welfare state, thank you, Neha, for bringing that in, that should be the philosophy of everything that we are doing so far, because we are still a developing country. There's a long way to go. That's what I feel.
Yes, yes. Akhil.
I think there's just a. I think is my voice audible?
Yeah,
Yes.
your voice is
Okay.
audible.
Okay. In
You're
that case,
frozen.
okay. Thank you. Yeah, my frame is
Frame is
frozen.
frozen.
Yeah.
Neha, just go ahead. I'll just join in 1 second. I'm very sorry for
Yeah.
the. There's a glitch.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
out of topic, I had one small casual question. I
Sure,
don't
sure.
it will be just a casual normal thing
Yeah,
that
yeah.
earlier we had this tradition that parents used to tell us, don't play games more on mobile, you'll have some issues with your eyes. Don't watch computer more, you'll have some issues with your eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now they have to make their child sit in front of computer or mobile for 7-8 hours.
Yes.
What is the getaway from this for the parents? Now what will they say? Or what shall they say?
नाही आय थिंक मला असं वाटतं की आता एक जसं म्हणजे मग आशिष म्हणला की किंवा आपल्याला काही प्रश्नही आलेत की ब्लेंडेड एज्युकेशन वरती आता खूप काम होतंय किंवा आता जरी खूप मोठ्या प्रमाणात मुलं स्क्रीन टाइम मुलांचा असला तरी आता खूप वेगळ्या वेगळ्या प्रकारच्या ऍक्टिव्हिटीज मग म्हणजे किंवा त्यांचं फिजिकली ग्राउंड जे कॉलनीतल्या कॉलनीत का होईना पण फिजिकली त्यांचा व्यायाम करून घेणं असेल किंवा काही आर्ट बेस्ड थेरपी सारखे प्रकार आहेत तर त्याच्यावरती पण आता खूप मोठ्या प्रमाणात लिखाण होतंय की जेणेकरून स्क्रीन टाइम वगळता तुम्ही मुलांना कसं एंगेज ठेवू शकता आणि ते करणारेही आता खूप सारे पालक आहेत. मी म्हटलं म्हणजे जसं आपण सगळेच म्हणतोय तसं की ह्या सगळ्या सिस्टीम्स आता काळाबरोबर तयार होत आहेत. सो आपण सगळेच त्याच्याबरोबर जुळवून घेतोय. सो सध्या आर्ट बेस्ड थेरपी असेल, ड्रामा थेरपी असेल, वेगळे वेगळे थेरपिस्ट त्याच्याबद्दल लेख लिहितायत की तुम्ही मुलांना अदर दॅन त्यांचा ठराविक स्क्रीन टाइम कसं एंगेज ठेवू शकता. And I think everybody is taking that effort, like the parents especially.
Right. Sorry, I'm back.
Yes, so
Technical
Akhil is
glitch.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about welfare state, and I want to bring out the reason I mentioned EduTech is that if I want to start an education website or online education portal, I'm allowed to make a profit. But if I'm supposed to start a school, I have to register as a charitable trust. So that is a big paradox which we have to deal with. And this pandemic, probably this subject has brought us to that point of question as well as solution. So coming towards the sorry.
Coming toward?
Coming towards the end, we have covered the topic. We have visited a lot of points, pertinent ones, and many of the innovative solutions also have been discussed. So thank you all. This is the basic idea of Golmage, that we come with our thoughts, we discuss them, and at the end of the solutions, one of the ideas of Golmage is we just don't discuss problem. We have to come up with solutions. And I'm very thankful that we could come up with the solution of the citizen voice, that creating a pressure group for education is a very important thing. Hopefully that takes the discussion forward. I'll now ask Komal to read out the concluding remarks. Komal?
Yes. So we'll talk about the summary of today's session of Golmage. So in this episode, we've seen a discussion on the topic online schooling, conventional, unconventional, or beyond. Online शालेय शिक्षण, पारंपरिक, प्रायोगिक का त्याहून अधिक. Our presenter, Mr. Ashish Pawar, he brought some pertinent points to the fore to set the stage for discussion. And in this presentation, we have seen what is the conventional, that is the syllabus, the available resources, and the size of the classroom. What is the unconventional? The unconventional that has developed right now, a pandemic, the economic conditions, the effect of the home environment, or the deprivation of a school environment on learning. Then the resilience, cooperation, and extra effort that have been taken up amidst this challenging situation. Now, looking at the data as of 2019, we also saw a challenging situation with the internet penetration in urban spaces, which stands at 51%, with the divide being prominent among males and females, with 67 and 33% access respectively. Some other challenges are posed by infrastructural issues, including lack of access to good connectivity and devices, lack of required skills among teachers, among others. We also looked at how efforts are being made or can be made to help better this situation, including sanitization protocols and blended learning. With a new education policy having been introduced, it was delved into the positives that this NEP can bring about or add here. Then we saw a stimulating discussion open up with participants introducing different perspectives to our topic. They talked about, firstly, how online schooling may not be here to stay, given that a pandemic has forced us to go online with classes. Secondly, certain solutions were presented that can help us out of the problem of deprivation, with giving out of second-hand devices or pooling and streamlining of resources to enable classes, and introducing a pre-class mentoring of small groups of students. Given the fact that almost half our population, that is the half the population in India, does not have access to internet and devices like smartphones, and the hit that our economy has taken right now, it was considered how the problem of further deprivation of the poor class can be leveraged. So the panelists discussed how policy change on part of the government should begin with looking at the poorest classes first. A challenge of increased parental and technology handling pressure that has mounted on teachers, that was also discussed. Additionally, increased use of technology that will aid our educational system in the long term also came to be discussed. We also saw some points of disagreement among the speakers, such as that on the speed or ease in employing the solutions that were suggested. For instance, giving a device to a poor family to access online classes will end up in the device being sold for the next day's meal. Another point of disagreement was entirely focusing on the deprived class and their problems in this situation, that could be looked at as a problem situation, given that every different kind of situation brings its own problems. Importantly, this discussion was able to bring the participants to agreement on certain points as well, and that included working out safety protocols, short-term solutions to ensure access to online classes too. We also had some questions that were put to the panelists that elicited some insightful responses, questions including those of ed tech companies and the businesses in education and their role now. Secondly, the midday meal scheme in our country that has been able to draw students from poorer households to school. And another question pertained to the government spending on the education sector and what to expect therefrom. So this is what we saw saw unfold in the Gold Mage discussion today. Akhil.
Thank you, Komal. That brings us to the end of September month's Gold Mage. To discuss, to debate, and then to come to solutions. That is the philosophy of Gold Mage. I thank all of you. I thank Ashish, Priya, Rohan, Neha, Komal, Kapilesh for joining us. Gold Mage will be held. We plan to hold it every third Saturday. The next month Gold Mage, Kapilesh, could you just share it? So interesting topic for the next month's Gold Mage. It will be held on 17th of October at 5 p.m. The topic is, should recreational drugs be legalized in India? So this is the topic on which the Gold Mage will be held next month. As we have already said before, Gold Mage is open to all. It is an open platform. We encourage the viewers who have joined us on the live session, as well as who will be watching this, please do drop in your details, do drop in your suggestions. If you're interested to participate in Gold Mage, please drop in. The links and the forms will be shared on the Facebook in the comment section. Do contact us. Thank you for joining. Thanks a lot to everybody. And we will be seeing all of you on 17th of October.